We begin with a breaking news alert.
No, Kristen, we're not at war with Iran. We're at war with Iran's nuclear program, and we actually want peace. But we want peace in the context of them not having a nuclear weapons program, and that's exactly what the president accomplished last night.
Strong words from Vice President J.D. Vance this morning, hours after President Trump announced to the world that the U.S. bombed 3 nuclear sites in Iran. The Trump administration stressing that if Iran continues to try and build a nuclear weapon, more attacks could be on the way. Thank you for being with us here on 7 News at 6:30. I'm Josh Chapin. We are breaking down everything you need to know. We have team coverage. Our Christian Flores is with us on how law enforcement agencies here in the district are responding to all this. And our Liana Golden has more on how DMV residents are reacting. But first, Jen Sullivan has details on what the Pentagon is calling Operation Midnight Hammer and how global leaders are reacting.
This video captured smoke filling the sky around the Fordo nuclear facility in Iran Sunday, one of 3 nuclear sites attacked by the U.S. in what the Pentagon is calling Operation Midnight Hammer, a targeted attack to cripple Tehran's nuclear program.
Iran's nuclear ambitions have been obliterated.
The Pentagon says more than 125 military aircraft were used in the strike. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth noting the U.S. did not target Iranian troops or civilians. Iran and Israel have been exchanging deadly strikes for over a week now. The conflict began June 13th when Israel launched multiple attacks aimed at destroying Iran's nuclear program and its military leadership.
Iran cannot have nuclear weapons.
Following the U.S.'s attack, President Donald Trump addressed the nation Saturday night, saying the U.S. worked with Israel to end Iran's nuclear threat.
Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace, and we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel.
Iran's top diplomat posted on X, calling the U.S. attack, quote, outrageous, and saying it will have everlasting consequences. He also warned that Iran reserves all options to defend its sovereignty. Many top Republicans are praising the strikes, but other lawmakers condemn it.
This was not constitutional, was not lawful in the absence of a declaration by Congress. And so the administration should have come to Congress.
President Trump warned Saturday the U.S. could launch more attacks if Iran does not make peace. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
Jen, thank you. 7 News on your side, taking a closer look at how local and federal law enforcement agencies are responding to the U.S. strikes on the Iranian nuclear sites. Our Christian Flores is live at MPD headquarters after speaking with a retired officer. Christian, wondering how officers and police leaders are reacting tonight.
Well, all day today, we've seen a pretty constant flow of law enforcement presence, whether it was in Virginia, Maryland, or here in D.C. And while there have been no credible threats, that retired officer tells me that law enforcement agencies all around this region must always be vigilant after a major global event like this.
When you say that global effects are affecting local law enforcement, that is not something new to the District of Columbia.
As a retired law enforcement officer with both MPD and the Department of Homeland Security, University of Virginia Assistant Professor Josh Ederheimer knows it's all hands on deck for officers in the region in the wake of the U.S. bombings of nuclear sites in Iran.
Your local cops need to know what's going on around the world, because world events in this global environment affect safety in the United States and especially in Washington, D.C.
He says the Department of Homeland Security funds information sharing centers among local and federal agencies.
Information flows into the central hub, and every law enforcement agency is represented and has access. That is critical. So when you have international incidents like this happen, information is flowing into the fusion center and then flowing out to the individual agencies.
A Secret Service official says they don't comment on specific strategies, but are constantly assessing and adjusting protective posture. Police departments in D.C., Montgomery, Prince George's, Arlington, Fairfax, and Loudoun counties all stated they're working with local and federal agencies and increasing patrols, especially around places of worship, but are not aware of any threats.
Floor plans for facilities, the police already have this information for high-risk identified locations. They've already developed infrastructure protection plans. This saying that 10,000 hours of practice leads to becoming an expert, I think that the D.C. police and the National Capital Area law enforcement have way more than 10,000 hours of experience, and they are experts.
Ederheimer also tells me these local law enforcement agencies likely were already on high alert after the 2 Israeli embassy staff members were shot and killed almost exactly 1 month ago. Reporting live at MPD headquarters, Christian Flores, 7 News.
Christian, thank you. 7 News also hearing from people in our communities. They watched tensions rise and unfold in the Middle East. Our Liana Golden tracking this one for us in Northwest. Liana, what are you hearing tonight?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of fear and anxiety about the many unknowns that lie ahead here. We're here outside the Washington Hebrew congregation. It is a staple to DC's Jewish community. And I spoke with one local leader who says that the entire Jewish community, as Christian just mentioned, is still in a lot of concern here, still on high alert after the 2 murders that took place outside the Capitol Jewish Museum last month. And now there's even more concern over the idea of possible retaliation here at home.
Recognizing the need to be vigilant, even as our own country and Israel have taken these necessary steps in order to address this horrible nuclear threat that was only coming closer to realization. We also understand the ramifications here in our own community.
And now Siegel says she and the entire community, the council, along with local rabbis, they're working with law enforcement to ensure that proper safety protocols are followed here. Now, we are chatting with more folks across the region to gauge what the feeling here is in the DMV and in the district following U.S. strikes on Iranian nuclear sites. So we'll have much more of that coming up tonight on 7 News at 11. For now, reporting live in Northwest D.C., I'm Liana Golden. Back to you.
All right, Liana, good context for us there. Thank you. Earlier this morning, our Kelly Lynn spoke with J.J. Green. He's a national security correspondent with our news partners at WTOP. Here's what he said about the likelihood of Iran retaliating.
Oh, without a doubt. And this is going to be massive. They're going to likely respond with sabotage, asymmetric warfare, and then there's the possibility of bloodshed. And the reason for that is because Iran, and it's well known that they do have this capability, they have people that are known as sleepers all over Europe and, in Latin America and possibly even here in the U.S. And their objective, their job, their mission is to do nothing but wait for the time to be called up to respond to what they consider an existential crisis, at least the regime. It's not clear that they will use that tactic, but it's very, very certain they have it. And it's something that Americans and Europeans definitely, and U.S. assets and personnel all over the world need to be aware of. But they're expert in assassinations and sabotage. They're not going to be able to mix it up with the U.S. military to military. Maybe they have some hit or miss pinprick types of things that they can do. But be clear about it. Their real strength is asymmetric warfare and terrorism.
Again, J.J. Green there with our partners at WTOP. He went on to say that the U.S. military is always prepared to fight. You can watch his full interview on our 7 News YouTube page. There will also be, we have learned today, extra security at metro stations over the next couple of days. WMATA releasing a statement just a few hours ago saying while there are no known threats to Metro at this time, they're closely monitoring the situation. They add, if you see anything suspicious, you are asked to text my MTPD. That number comes out to 696-873. We'll have much more coverage of Operation Midnight Hammer all throughout the evening here on 7 News. You can also find the latest updates on our website, WJLA.com.